Great news for Social Security, as the forecast for the cost of living adjustment, or the COLA, that we will receive that increase in 2024, well, it just went up today. Breaking news coming out. I'm going to get you the latest headlines. Take a look at this. Social Security COLA 2024 prediction rises with the latest CPI report inflation data. Social Security COLA increase 2024. What is the highest and the lowest projected for next year's adjustments? There's some good news to share. I'm going to get you caught up on what they're saying. And this is as a result of, take a look, just coming out today, the August inflation report. Price pressures remain stubborn as gas pushes up inflation rates. Consumer price index rose 3.7%. However, the core inflation, excluding food and energy, is actually 4.3%, which means inflation, it is still up there. And that means as a result that Social Security, it will need a higher increase than what they were originally projecting. And take a look. U.S. inflation accelerates in August as gasoline prices jump. Mild price pressures, excluding energy, keep the Fed on track to pause rate increases next week. This is great news for those collecting Social Security, wanting to see an increase in the benefits that are being distributed, because this means they're going to need to make an adjustment for inflation. Now, I'm going to get you caught up on the latest, and in addition to that, we're waiting to see if there's going to be increases across the board as a result of legislation like the Social Security Expansion Act or the 2100 Act. Stick around to the end. I'm going to get you some more updates on that as well. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. And before we do, smash the like button for me if you appreciate the updates. Hit subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And share this out if you think it could help out other people. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, you will recall, take a look at this. This is the press release from the Social Security Administration last year, October 13th of 2022. We had a 40-year high 8.7% increase. We had not seen that in 4 decades. Now, Social Security and SSI, it benefits about approximately 70 million Americans who received an 8.7% increase. And they said that on average for most recipients was about $140 per month increase that started January of 2023. So this is going to be impacting 70 million Americans, everybody on SSI, SSDI, retirement, and we're waiting to see what's going to be happening. Now, I shared with you the latest projections. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how they're saying these are changing. So as always, link in the description below to this breaking news article that just came out earlier today that says Social Security COLA 2024 prediction rises with the latest CPI report inflation data. Now, the article says that the forecast for next year's Social Security increase rose to 3.2% from 3%. However, we've already heard other projections saying we're past that 3% mark and we're going to start getting closer to 3.5%, 4%. Now, this happened on Wednesday after the government said inflation ticked up in August. Annual inflation in August rose 3.7% from 3.2% in July, but off a 40-year high of 9.1% in June of 2022. Now, without the volatile food and energy sectors, the so-called core inflation rose at a rate of 4.3%, down from July's 4.7%. So in other words, inflation is still going up, and it's going up even higher when you account for only the core inflation. So if you feel like the prices of goods are still going up and it's hard to live off of what you're receiving and you just can't keep up with expenses, well, you're not alone. They're saying this is across the board, actually over 4%, close to 5%. Now, energy declined 3.6% over the year, while food rose 4.3%. So those groceries are getting expensive, compared to a 12.5% drop and 4.9% increase, respectively, in July. Now, shelter or rents, they jumped 7.3%. Let me know if you've noticed rent increases over the last 12 months, but it was still softer than July's 7.7% gains. Now, although inflation remains much higher than the Federal Reserve's 2% target, the trend remains mostly lower, which means Social Security recipients will see a lower cost of living adjustment, which, as I just showed you, last year's, they provided an additional 8.7%. They're looking at 3.2% for next year, according to the current forecast from the Senior Citizens League, a nonprofit seniors group. That's less than half of the 4-decade high 8.7% COLA in 2023, but still higher than a 2.6% average for the past 20 years. Now, lower inflation is welcomed, but the harsh reality is that the amount that the COLAs increase benefits, in most years, it's been meager at best, and they're saying that they need this help. So We need to get those COLA increases up significantly over inflation to make sure that those that are depending on this, they get the help that they need. Now, seniors, they have not kept up and inflation has made it worse. Annual COLAs are meant to ensure Social Security beneficiaries' purchasing power isn't eroded by inflation. However, COLA hasn't kept pace, and seniors were the only group that saw its share of poverty increase between 2020 and 2021. Man, that is terrible. Now, on Tuesday, the Census Bureau also reported that older adult poverty rate, it jumped to 14.1% in 2022 from 9.5% in 2020 and 10.7% in 2021 after accounting the government cash and non-cash benefits, geography, taxes, and necessary expenses. Now, Social Security only replaces roughly 1/3 of a middle earner's average wages, according to the actuarial note from the Social Security offices of chief actuaries. Now, making matters worse, 59% of older adults start Social Security benefits before reaching the full retirement age and receive permanently reduced benefits, according to a poll of 2,259 retirees surveyed this month by the Senior Citizens League. So the benefits to begin with are simply not enough. Even though inflation this year has been running below the 8.7% beneficiaries received, seniors haven't been able to recoup the losses that they incurred in the past 2 years, with inflation reaching a 40-year high, Johnson says. In fact, inflation was so severe in 2021 and 2022 that the average Social Security benefit fell behind by $1,054, leaving 53% of retirees doubting that they will recover because household costs rose more than the dollar amount that their COLAs increased. And here's a quick snapshot breaking down all the different sections and how inflation impacted each and every category. You can see gasoline, all types, 10.6% increase. And overall, they're saying that inflation went up 3.7%. Core inflation went up over 4%, closer to 5%. And man, that means that the cost of goods, they're getting more expensive, and it's getting harder and harder for those on fixed incomes to just make it survive day to day. So they definitely need some help, and this is going to be helping. This is the annual cost of living adjustment increase for Social Security. In addition to that, as we just read, sometimes the benefits themselves just simply are not enough, especially if people need that Social Security before they hit the full retirement age. And they're saying it's time for us to fix that for recipients. They need to have bigger checks that they can rely on. Now, there is currently several pieces of legislation proposed to do just that. Across the board increases of $200 per month proposed right here in the Social Security Expansion Act, which has just recently been reintroduced in Congress. It's being mentioned. So to get the latest, check out this video right here, and also more updates on Social Security as they roll out right here on the channel. So that is the latest. Great news for those of you looking for an increase, and I'll keep you up to date as more information rolls out. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.